The manager had dreaded ringing the area manager to explain the situation to him. He had spoke to him yesterday on Laura's day off, but he had decided she wasn't going to actually go through with it, so he didn't need to mention it. He knew he had to get across the seriousness of the situation straight away. It's not some simple matter to be laughed at and told just put a stop to it. Laura isn't actually going to speak again. He calls the area manager's number. Something's happened here that you'll think is stupid, but before you tell me what needs to be done, I need you to really think about it, as if there's absolutely no way to stop it, the manager said, feeling slightly silly but knowing he's not actually being overly dramatic. The area manager laughed over the phone. Are you joking? Nobody's died. What's happened? The manager began. Laura, she's decided never to speak again in work, and if we tell her she can't do it, she's going to walk out. You're joking, the area manager asked. Nope, I didn't think she'd go through with it, but she's not spoke a word today so far, and I don't think she's going to. The area manager had a soft spot for Laura. She was a quiet, hard-working, peaceful young lady. He'd never had any issues with her. In fact, he used to love seeing her when he visited. Yes, she's had the time off with depression, which he'd found hard to understand. But other than that, he couldn't even remember her having any of her absence. In the few years she's worked there, she was never a reason for concern. She was one of the strongest members of the team. The only reason the area manager hadn't tried to talk her into stepping up to be a team leader or an assistant manager was because of how shy she seemed. Well, you can't have her on a till, he said. The manager split second and panicked and lied. No, of course not. She's just baked this morning. Now she's working the chiller. Silence. I'm worried other members of staff might be inspired by her, the manager said. Well, they can't, the area manager said. But he too was thinking, if they don't sack her, they can't stop others doing it. Suspend her, the area manager said. But we've got the big visit coming up in 2 weeks. I had her doing 45 hours both weeks. We've got too many people off either on holiday or sick as it is. We do need her. This is insane. It'll all be silly soon enough. She just can't do it. Just let her get on with it. Just don't put her on a till. Okay. The area manager hung up. The assistant manager asked what he had said. We need to get her off the till, the manager replied. She brought a till to the office and started cashing herself up as instructed by the manager, angrily. The area manager says you can't be on a till if you do this. She smiles, nodding. The manager's rage is seething. Laura, once this visit's over, I'm going to have to sack you. There's no other option. She smiles. Go finish off the chill, he says quietly, feeling defeated. As she's just left the office, he punches the desk. The assistant manager is silent. The pain helps release a little of the anger. This will all be over soon, he thinks. 2 weeks. I've just told her I'm having to sack her in 2 weeks after the visit. She can bake every morning and just work stock. She won't take the piss. She'll still work hard. She's fucking mad. The fruit and veg is finished. The shop floor tidy. The summer morning sun is bright. The wonky fruit and veg boxes sit in the window looking more unappetizing by the minute. One of the 2 other members of staff in the morning is sat as first till. Laura's laminated card no longer stuck on the monitor, facing the customer. Some of the more chatty regulars have heard about what's happened and tried to ask this member of staff. He's young and hasn't had much experience of understanding ideas that are outside of the status quo. He hasn't even tried to understand it. He just thinks it's stupid. So when customers ask, he quietly mocks her. Some of the customers quietly join in. She can't get away with it. You have to talk. It's bloody stupid. Negativity. The chill is finished and the fridges boast no gaps. The colours of the products gleam out, the glaring sun not making it this far into the store, so the fridge is providing a welcome chill as the store begins to heat up in the summer sun. Laura is working the ambient with Patrick. Patrick is surprised to find himself smiling the whole time he works with her, partially because he admires her, partially because every time he wants to talk to her about it, he realises he can't, and he knows this has shook him out of the everyday. So simple. It's brilliant. He's excited to do it too. This is practice, he thinks. He loves it. Laura notices him, unable to hide his excitement, so this makes her smile more than usual too. Like giddy lovers with a secret, they silently weave around each other, placing tins of dog food on the aisle. The manager walks past, noticing them grinning. Oh, so you've given up already, have you? What's so funny? So you've talked? Good. Thank fuck for that. Well done, Patrick. He stares at them. Both of them are smiling silently. Laura wants to laugh, but just about manages to stifle it. The manager's eyes are daggers pointing in Patrick's direction. She's not spoke, he says. The manager wonders if he's going mad. Why is he letting this annoy him so much? Fucking mental, a lot of you, he says, then heads to the office. Patrick quietly says to Laura, I'm going to do it too. When Patrick returns from his break, the manager is in his office, trying his best to make sure everything but Laura is normal and running normally. He's happy with the shop floor. No backstock from this morning. All deliveries finished. A perfect shift, actually, except, of course, his heart had been beating like a drum all morning, and he had the giddiest butterflies in his chest and his stomach. His wife had been texting, but he couldn't even reply. He worried if he wrote the words into his phone, she's doing it, it would only cement the reality of the thing. If he doesn't write it down, there's still a chance it's just some silly mood swing that will stop any second. Patrick knocks on the office door, lets himself in, and hands an envelope to the boss addressed to him. The boss looks up at him. All hope was lost. What now? The manager thought about his area manager, how he would tell him. He wondered who else might do it. He placed the letter on the desk, staring into thin air, his head melting. He looked to Patrick. Please, he asked. Patrick, please, this is important. Just until this next visit, then we can all shut the fuck up if we want to. Patrick stared at him. You've got to till out. You're not allowed on a till if you're doing this. Patrick stared at him. At this moment, the announcement for a manager comes over the PA. The manager hears the assistant manager's voice in the headset. I'm cleaning up some fucking shit on the shop floor. Can somebody else get that? Well, I guess there's only me who can fucking talk, isn't there, Patrick? The manager goes out to the till. Another angry customer. The lad who had done the fruit and veg this morning had charged them wrong at the till, and he was dealing with it all terribly, getting mixed up, confusion, a long queue, swearing, children in the queue, the summer heat. The manager tells the member of staff to just be calm. The customer is saying he shouldn't even be allowed a job here, he's completely useless. Every time this happens, he's always scanning stuff wrong. This isn't the first time. The member of staff whispers under his breath, just fuck off. The manager hears him and looks at him wide-eyed, stunned, hoping to God the customer didn't hear that. He looks at her. Did he just say what I think he said? I'm sorry, please, come over here. The manager takes the lady's arm, desperate to move her away from everyone else. Never have I been so insulted. I'll never shop here again. I've just been told to fuck off, the woman shouts to the other customers. A mother with a young child guides him past everyone. Come on, son, let's get out of here. The manager has been able to get the customer away from the others. She won't let him get in a word edgeways, a non-stop barrage of everything that's gone wrong in the last 2 minutes, ending with her being told to fuck off by the member of staff. That member of staff will be immediately suspended as a result of this. He made the mistakes. He told you those words. Believe me, he doesn't belong in this store. I'll get rid of him as soon as we've rectified your shopping and I've put through everything you've got in your basket free of charge. I cannot apologise enough. There's no defence for what's happened. The customer wouldn't let him speak, trying to talk over him. The manager had the receipt in his hand, £18.62. He took a £20 note out his till and gave it to her, along with the receipt. I'm sorry. I'm going to speak to him right now. I'm calling customer services about this, she shouts as she storms off towards the exit. The manager turns to look at the member of staff. Everyone was queuing at other tills. His was empty, his face red. It wasn't quite apparent visibly that he was shaking with fear. Take your till off, the manager said as he passed, walking to the office. The member of staff followed. Somehow Laura's shit had caused all this, the manager thought, though he couldn't even connect it all. He shook his head. What the fuck is wrong today? Laura, this is a nightmare. The boy walked into the office. He was close to tears. I'm sorry, I'd scanned the shopping wrong, then the kid was screaming in the queue, then the sun was in my eyes, and I could feel everyone was so annoyed with me, then the woman was telling me how stupid it was, and I couldn't help it. The manager wondered, why was he more sympathetic to all this that has gone wrong, than he is with Laura being mute? The manager's usual ability to face any obstacles kicked in whilst listening to the boy. I'm going to have to send you home for a few days, otherwise that customer might think we've done nothing about it. You were stressed, but you can never swear on the shop floor. Fuck's sake, you know that. The boy started to cry. Cash your till up. You're off until Monday. The boy couldn't talk through the sobs. Well, it's just a lesson, isn't it? Just be more careful when you're scanning. Some customers aren't forgiving with things scanned wrong. You know what a bitch that customer is. Just be more careful. I'm sorry, the boy managed to say through the tears. His words were heavenly to the manager. He was suddenly so grateful for them. A sign the boy knows he's done wrong and he's still submissive to the manager's control. The manager shakes his head, feeling sorry for him, but happy there is at least some normality in all of this. A swear word aimed at a customer. So what? It's bad, but it can be dealt with. He decides not to tell the area manager about it. She threatens to ring customer services all the time. She's banned from a load of the other stores on the island. She's a junkie. Fuck her, he thought. He burst out laughing. Fuck her. The boy looked confused with teary eyes. Their headsets were suddenly filled with a voice, in unison, the assistant manager asking for the manager. You'd better come out here. Someone from the local newspaper had come down. The manager panicked. Not the junkie, it can't be her already. Laura? The store is on a small island. Newsworthy stories are scant. Nothing much ever really happens around here. After 7 hours of the store being open, word had spread about Laura. A curious writer found the idea interesting. He happened to be friends with Patrick on Facebook. He messaged him asking about it. Is it true? Patrick had messaged back saying it was, and that he was going to do it too. There may be others as well. He said him and Laura were wearing the sunflower badges as emblems of their silence. Possibly more. How many? There aren't many supermarkets on this tiny island. If half of the staff don't talk, this is insane. The writer had headed down to see what was going on. The manager had had experience dealing with this person before. The writer was a left-leaning student who had wrote a piece on the island's youths. There had been a time when they covered the supermarket in stickers that appeared to be a QR code promising a deal on different meats. When the customer scanned it, they were taken to a video of animals being slaughtered, with facts popping up on their screen throughout it. The writer had asked the manager what he thought of it. The manager told him it was vandalism and the people behind it should be prosecuted. He told them at the time he respects everybody's choices, so does the company. That's why they offer alternatives to meat. He pointed at the bacon that they had in at the time on the special offers, subconsciously happy that it was sat there waiting to be pointed at as a good example. The manager had wondered at the time if this lefty student prick had secretly had something to do with it all.